Today we're gonna go over the numbers on an Airbnb deal that I manifested from thin air. So in the beginning of this year, 2022, I wanted to buy more Airbnbs. And so I looked up articles of like the best cities to buy Airbnbs. And for me, I was partial to Florida because I live in Florida. And I feel like the market's the best here. And so I looked at the best areas. And one thing that popped up on their list from Airbnb itself was Crystal River, Florida. And so for me, I started writing down, I'm gonna get me an Airbnb in Crystal River, Florida. So happens to be it, I get an email that I guess went out a couple times, but I very rarely check other wholesalers' emails. And I got an email from a wholesaler who had this property. He just reduced it and he was only making like 5K on it. And I went to go take a look at it and I locked it down and I purchased it from a wholesaler, a Crystal River property right like 3 or 4 minutes from the springs. It's beautiful. So I first went to go look at the property, make sure the layout was good and was gonna be a good house for Airbnb. And it is a pool home house and it's right by the spring, so that was a great deal for us. Hey, before we get into these numbers and break down the cash on cash returns these deals can bring you, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that way you can take down quality info each week on creative deals and different deals we're doing in real estate. We purchased it and we locked it up for $250,000. Was our purchase price. That included the wholesale fee, about $5,000 for the wholesaler. I was able to raise all private money for this deal. I actually raised $300K private money on this deal. The house was, rent ready, had a tenant in there. The house was super clean, but it wasn't like Airbnb quality. So I over raised for the purchase price so I can do some renovations and also pay for furnishing and to have it designed. So with closing costs, it was only about 5K. So I was all in, purchase price $255, and I had $45K left over to renovate and furnish the property. So we actually went a little bit over. I pulled $10K out of my pocket. So we not only spent this $45K, but an additional $10K on this property. So we're all in at $310. So before I actually contracted this deal, I looked up on airdna.co the rates of what this property could bring with its location and with the bedroom bath configurations. So AirDNA say this property was going to be 75% occupancy with a daily rate of $322 a night. So what you do is you take 30 days times 75%, which is 22 and a half days, times the daily rate, and that gives you how much you'll make per month, which is $72.45 a month. This is what this house can on average bring a month. For us, typically slow months are like August, September, and then May is like another kind of like slow month. But for instance, we didn't have it open in July, but in July next year, it'll probably make 14, 15 grand because you can raise the rents higher because there's much more demand and much more usage of the property during like holiday season. But on average, it should make $72.45 a month. So for me, I have a Airbnb manager who manages the Airbnb and takes care of everything. So I don't have to do anything with this property. He charges 20% to make numbers easy. I'm just gonna round up to $14.50. Taxes on this property is only $150 a month. Taxes, insurance is the same, $150 a month. And then 10% for maintenance and little different fees that might come up. So that would be around that to $700 a month. So for what I'm bringing in after property management, taxes, insurance, and some maintenance on the property, things that have to be replaced and changed over, repairs, we would net $47.95 a month. Times that by 12, $57,540. So on this property, if we bought it all cash with our own capital, if you bought a property with your own capital and we're able to bring in $57,540 a month, a year, and you put $310 all in, your cash on cash return will be 18.5%. So you get an 18.5% return on your money, you get depreciation, appreciation, and then obviously cash flow. So for us, we actually borrowed the money initially, and this was with no payments at 10% interest. It's like actually an odd number. So we borrowed the money, all capital, so that way my plan was to renovate the property because I knew it was gonna take a couple months and get it all furnished, get it all ready for Airbnb, show about 3 months of income, and then refinance into a long-term interest only note with like a hard money lender. So when we do that, we're looking at getting the value on the property. The ARV is actually probably only 300. That's the ARV also of the property. I'm gonna still retain money in this deal, which I'm okay with. And so on this prop, because it's gonna be a high, super high return. So at the 300K value, I could get a hard money lender to give me 80%. So 80% of that would be 240. So they're gonna lend me 240 on this deal to pay off my lender. So out of the 80%, I get the 240 from the lender, but I'll still have money in this deal. So I not only have the 60K for this property, I have the additional 10K that I'm in, and then I have another 15K to do this loan, because the loan I get from the hard money lender, I'm gonna buy down the rate, because rates right now are like, for long-term hard money, 7.99. I can buy down this rate to 5.99 interest only for a couple points. So with closing costs and the refinance, it's gonna probably cost me about 15K in closing costs. So this is the money over and above I'm in the house, 70K over the 240. This is for closing costs. And then the interest I owe to the lender payment, 20K. So I'm all in at 105. So when I refinance this property, I'll be all in at 105 of my capital, and the property, I'll have a new note on this property for 240 at 5.99 interest only. That rate would be actually $11.98 a month. So now this is my debt service with my monthly payment. So with my monthly payment now, my monthly income. So my monthly income is $47.95. To make numbers easier, just subtract 1,200 times 12, 43,140. So now my net went from 57,540 to 43,140. And I still, instead of having, if I didn't buy this all cash, now with this number, that's my net after the debt service, is 105. So I'm all in at 105, and I'm netting 43,140 a year. So that return is a 41% cash on cash return. So I'll have 105 of my own capital invested into this at 41%. Now I can get kind of even super creative. Actually, didn't even think about this till now. I can actually ask this investor to say, hey, what if I actually only pay you off a portion of this deal, which now I'm definitely gonna do this. What if I just pay you off a portion of this property, of this note, and I give you 8 or 10% interest going on paid out monthly. So I can actually borrow this 105 at 10%, which would be, just to make the numbers easy, $10,000 a year. I will net $33,000 with no money out of pocket. So I get an infinite return. The investor gets a 10% return. She got an 11, 12% return here on her loan like a rehab loan. So I can get the property done, renovated, furnished, and on the market. I refinance with hard money. I'm all in with no money now, and I'm making $33,000 a year with none of my own money in this deal. This is how you can be creative and do these types of deals. I planned on having this 105K in and just doing the numbers and breaking it down here. Epiphany, let's not have any of my money in, and I can still get an infinite return, make $33,000 a year with no money in the deal. Bang. Hey, make sure you guys subscribe. You guys can do this too. Like, it's very easy. It takes a lot of practice, and watching these videos and running through the numbers can help you a lot. There's a lot of guys out there who are doing a lot of deals, and they can't do this either. You know, it takes time, it takes practice. You gotta really run through numbers and get an idea of what's possible and how different ways you can structure deals. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, take action. The best thing I can tell you is take massive action. And like I said in the beginning, I manifested this deal. Write down your goals, what you want, and these opportunities can come to you. They work for Airbnb, self-storage, anything commercial, anything real estate. You can do this. You can buy businesses creatively. I'm looking to buy some businesses, and so subscribe, follow along, and we're gonna talk deals every Monday.